Hi, my name's Ilma and welcome to my channel. I've been posting Christian blogs 12 straight years every day. Today I'd like to share Genesis 41 verses 53 to 57. Here's the Word of God. The 7 years of plenty that occurred in the land of Egypt came to an end. And the 7 years of famine began to come, as Joseph had said. There was famine in all lands, but in all the land of Egypt there was bread. When all the land of Egypt was famished, the people cried to Pharaoh for bread. Pharaoh said to all the Egyptians, "Go to Joseph. What he says to you, do." So when the famine had spread over all the land, Joseph opened all the storehouses and sold to the Egyptians, for the famine was severe in the land of Egypt. Moreover, all the earth came to Egypt to Joseph to buy grain, because the famine was severe over all the earth. Genesis 41:53 to 57. And here's the poem I wrote inspired by those verses. Joseph stewards the year of famine for Egypt. Here's my poem. After 7 years of plenty and overflowing crops in Egypt, the time of famine was followed after those 7 years. As God led Joseph to foresee what was coming in Pharaoh's dream, the Lord also provided him with wisdom on how to steward the famine. Assigning Joseph to head the land of Egypt to prepare for things to come was the best decision Pharaoh had done to save the land and his dominion. Here's my essay. According to phrase.org.uk, the source of the proverb, "the devil is in the details," is often attributed to the German-American architect Ludwig Mies van der Rohe. This is almost certainly a misattribution. The expression derives from an earlier German proverb, "Der liebe Gott steckt im Detail," which translates as "God is in the details." The details of a plan, while seeming insignificant, may contain hidden problems that threaten its overall feasibility, is the meaning of this proverb. It is not literal in terms of the devil is at work, but the proverb actually refers more to God's exquisite detail when he plans. In Pharaoh's dream, God was in the details, especially in the interpretation he gave to Joseph. He gave Joseph the discernment and wisdom on how to execute and steward the crops during the bountiful years in preparation for the coming 7 years of famine. In this account, we witness that godly wisdom given to Joseph to anticipate the scarcity. Reflection. Give examples of how God is in the details that you know is written in the Bible. Well, if you go to the Old Testament, if you recall that part of Genesis that God instructed Noah to build the ark, that was very detailed. How long it would be, how tall it would be, how many windows, where he's going to put the door, and specifically how many animals would be there, and the specific instructions what to do on certain days. So that's an example of how God was in the detail. And another example I could think of is how Solomon was instructed to build the temple. Which gate would be facing north, which gate would be facing south, what is in the north, what is in the south, what is in the east, what is in the west, the measurements of all this detail. So in this account, we see that without God's hand in the detail being discerned by Joseph, which he gave, the land of Egypt would not have been the source of all this grain during the famine. because if God didn't allow Joseph to see this vision, then everybody would probably perish on the earth, because it says that the whole earth was in famine. So I encourage you to reflect on your life and how God was in the detail in your life, in certain aspects and circumstances and events in your life, that you saw the magnificence of the design that God has made for your life. It says in the Bible that while we were being woven in our mother's womb, He is watching everything. So He knows exactly what's going to happen in our lives. He knows what we're going to turn out to be, and He crafts us to be the one that He planned it to be. So He's the architect, He's the builder, and He's the whole engineer and the executor of whatever it is that He has planned. So that is such a wonderful, magnificent trait of God. So if you haven't checked my website, I have ILMA Art Studio. You can check some of my other videos and devotionals and blogs, and also some of my artworks. But if you haven't already, I've over 3,000 videos that I have written. Those 12 years I've been doing this. Just type on Google search or YouTube search ILMA'S Poem Devotional. Have a wonderful day.